Test your might.
Mortal Kombat!
Round one. Fight! Fatality.
Before we get any further into the video, I wanted to tell you about today's sponsor, Arcade1Up. They create arcade systems meant for home usage. One of the reasons I agreed to partner with them is because I was actually kind of familiar with these beforehand. My buddy Travis actually collects these, so he let me come over to his place and kind of check them out. I thought it was also fitting for this video because they have a Mortal Kombat one with all the original Mortal Kombat games with a traditional arcade interface. So you can whip your friends' butts the way it was intended. They have all different types of arcades and games, and because Star Wars week is coming up, they went ahead and sent me a Star Wars pinball machine. And I feel bad for the UPS guy who had to carry this up 3 flights of stairs because it's like 100 pounds, but I'm gonna put that together. Ta-da! Complete your at-home arcade with your very own 3/4 scale Star Wars digital pinball machine. It's got a 23.8-inch LCD playfield, a 7.5-inch LCD score screen, real feel tilt and nudge, light-up back glass, adjustable metal legs, dual speakers with metal grills, and a real working plunger. Hello everyone, my name is Holden Hardman. Thank you so much for joining us for a very special episode of My Friend Watches, where we're going to be watching a new movie that just came out. We're going to be watching Mortal Kombat, the brand new one. I'm pretty interested in this. I grew up without Mortal Kombat. I had a very strict household, so I was not allowed to play something that was quite as violent. So I didn't learn about all the characters until I was a little older. Luckily, we have Prime and Jeremy, who will be our Mortal Kombat experts that can fill us in. I know roughly the main characters. I'm just looking forward to this for the violence and the grotesque action. That's what I'm going into this expecting. Jeremy and Prime, since both of y'all are Mortal Kombat fans, how do y'all feel going into this?
Who talks first? Do you talk first?
I'm gonna let you take this first.
Oh, man, being a video game fan and being a movie fan, it's kind of unfair how a lot of movie adaptations of video games just kind of come out terrible, at least in my opinion. When you look at Resident Evil, I wasn't a big fan. The story just kind of went off. However, like Detective Pikachu, I actually enjoyed. That one I'll put up at the high pedestal, and then Resident Evil, Tomb Raider, I'll throw at the bottom. I'm going into this kind of like what Holden just said. I don't expect a lot. I don't expect a good story because I don't know, a lot of the, and this is where I'll let you take off on it, because I feel like a lot of video games have really good stories and a lot of lore, and Mortal Kombat has that, but Mortal Kombat is pretty convoluted and
a
mess.
No, you're right, it is. I mean, over the past 30 years, or give or take a little bit, almost exactly 30 years, it's had a lot of retcons. Stories have changed, different characters have been emphasized, so how do you fit all of that lore into a 2-hour movie? I mean, it's a challenge starting off, and I have seen this, so I don't want to reveal too many of my thoughts on it. I just want to set this up to say I am a huge Mortal Kombat fan. If Prime puts Detective Pikachu towards the top of the list for game adaptations, I love the original Mortal Kombat movie. I saw it like 4 times in the theaters when I was a kid. In fact, the first movies that we ever did, the first kind of fan films, were Mortal Kombat movies that me and my buddy Shane heavily choreographed, and then we would film them. And this is a series that I have a long time connection to. I'm not an expert when it comes to the more recent games, like anything post Mortal Kombat X, but I know that they do try to mesh old and new so that there's something for all the fans. And really, I'm just here for the reactions because, yeah, I'm really curious how this is gonna play.
I'm looking for 3 things when it comes to this movie. That is blood, gore, and wicked awesome fatalities.
Wicked.
Graphic fatalities. That's what I want.
There were 2 Mortal Kombat movies prior to this, I think. Mortal Kombat 1995, which I have seen. I actually got to meet the guy who was Johnny Tsunami's grandfather in that movie on Disney Channel. You know what I'm talking about. I really enjoyed the movie. There was a period of time where parents back in the 90s didn't like their kids playing Mortal Kombat, so they had to cut down on a lot of the gore and graphics. I think they changed the blood to like green instead of red. Mortal Kombat is famous for its fatalities, which is once the character has been beaten, they usually do some sort of incredibly cinematic and over-the-top death sequence. Like they'll take their heads and like rip them apart and throw them on the ground. Well, a lot more than that. So when we say we're looking for really interesting fatalities, we're looking for how are they going to continue to make this even more grotesque and horrible. Video game movie adaptations typically do not live up to expectations. That's just sort of historically true for the most part, I would say. So after everything we've talked about, how are you girls looking forward to going into Mortal Kombat?
For Mortal Kombat, I really don't know anything about it except for there is a very large following. But I did look at the preview and it did look kind of interesting, and the fact that Holden said there's a lot of gore, that's gonna be interesting. I don't really have any expectations. I'm going into it with an open mind. Like I said, I hear good things about it. Just the video game in general. I've played 2 video games my entire life, so I really don't have much to go off of, especially a video game being made into a movie. So we'll see.
What 2 video games have you played?
Gran Turismo and Mario Party.
It's nothing to be ashamed of. Those are good games.
I literally went to the Video Game Trading Post. If you're in Pensacola, shout out to you guys. I got an N64 and Mario Party just so we could play together. So we actually have played Mario Party not too long ago. Anyway, Jenna, how are you feeling going into this?
I don't know anything about it. I didn't even realize that Mortal Kombat was a video game. I thought it was just an old movie. I had no idea it was remade, so I have 0 expectations. I'm looking forward to meeting Lampshade Man, though. Apparently that's the thing.
I'm looking forward to the action. As far as storyline goes, I don't really care. I just want to see them fight. Matt, how are you feeling going into Mortal Kombat, my guy?
This may very well be the best culmination and setup for a movie that I've ever seen on My Friend Watches, because, like they said, movie adaptations of video games is absolute crap most of the time. I'm not very familiar with the newest versions of Mortal Kombat. I grew up with 2 young brothers that were degenerates and loved gore, grotesque pieces. So I grew up actually loving Mortal Kombat, playing the game. There's a bit of nostalgia for me, and as you've heard me say before, nostalgia is a big piece. So going into it knowing that the movies pretty much all the time suck, but having some nostalgia from my childhood, I can't see me disliking it because I'm going in not expecting any sort of story. It's just like, ha, great, oh, ha, the whole time. Wait a minute. And that's about it.
Wait, so you're familiar with Mortal Kombat, the video game?
I mean, you know, like Luke Cage and Scorpion.
Wow.
Johnny Cage. He knows the rest of them. He screwed up and put the one that he didn't know the name of up front. He named all of them just a minute ago.
Yes, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Raiden,
Wow,
Luke,
okay.
yeah, Johnny Cage.
You actually might know more about this than I do. I was not allowed to play these games.
Actually, I should not celebrate that, damn it.
All right, go ahead and get into it.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Mortal Kombat 2021.
Mortal Kombat!
We forget that we already shot an actual intro in front of a green screen. And then you had the Holden Hardman.
Can you shut the f up?
I love that architecture. Yeah, at the gates, nice.
You know something bad's gonna happen then.
Yeah,
They're
absolutely.
starting off that strong.
Yeah, she's literally gonna be fridged by Sub-Zero.
Nailed that.
Shut that kid up.
There's too many smiles. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's what we want to see! It's Sub-Zero! Ah! Yeah!
That guy's name is Joe Taslim. He's from the Raid, and he's one of the best martial artists working today.
Really?
Sub-Zero, yeah.
What a mixture right now of like not wanting this little family to die, but loving Sub-Zero. Oh, you were right there. I nailed it! Oh, what an intro! Jesus.
Oh wow.
With the kid.
Symbolic of the Virgin Mary.
That's what they'll say probably.
Dude, get a hairdryer, do something.
It's 1617 Japan.
What?
Dude.
Oh! Oh my God! Jesus!
Oh yeah.
Yeah, kill them all. Oh my God!
Holy hell. He's got nothing to lose right now.
I'm actually taking a dump. We don't have toilets yet.
That's my well.
I'm not even going to wipe.
Yo, leave it to me to like be thoroughly enjoying this right now.
I'm enjoying this too.
These are really, really good.
This is what I wanted.
Ah. Ooh. There you go.
Choreography is great.
Yeah. Ooh. Throwing punch.
You took one of those, Matt.
This is dope. Ah, man. We're not going for medical accuracy right now, babe. Let that go. It's fine. There's always round 2, though. Whoop.
Round 2.
You might want to wait to do that until you get to the ER, but okay. It's going ahead.
You just become one with the force.
Don't do this. Alright, I'm enjoying this. Don't do this.
Hello there.
Yeah, it's prime in the movie. Oh, the eyes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be very verbal in this movie, I can tell.
That's alright. I'm dog.
What a solid friggin' start.
Right.
Holy crap. Outworld. I like how to the point and basic that is.
They're like Earth realm. Chicago realm.
Hanzo is a ghost. I killed him centuries ago. I am no longer beyond. I am Sub-Zero.
Yeah. Sub-Zero? The dude spits ice. Oh no, you don't. I love this.
All I ever wanted was to make my family proud.
Name's Jax.
Nice to meet you, Jax.
You're the one today. He's with his family.
Kill them all? Alright.
Not a good sign. It's not normal snow.
Like the day after tomorrow.
Yeah, right? Good call. Yes.
Fridman.
Yeah.
You've heard of Terminator, but you've never heard of Refrigerator.
Whoa. Holy crap.
Get the truck home! Now!
They're supposed to fight this guy in hand-to-hand combat?
Both of us, look.
What a weird place to have that at.
See where mine's at.
Their ice effects are really good.
Really good. Yeah. Jax was notorious for having very good firepower and weapons.
This is a property you know more about than I do.
Actually, I will take it. I am proud of that. Oh my god!
It's gonna fuck up.
What's gonna happen? Oh no, man.
Fatality.
Later. Ouch. He is a monster in this movie. They made him so perfect.
Oh, I remember that boss. That's not how I remember Sonya Blade looking. That wasn't.
Not Melina.
Melina. I do remember her near. Yeah, Jenna, you're gonna love her.
I'm sure she will.
There she is. There's Sonya.
What is this?
We needed a safe place to run our operation. This is where we keep all we've learned about the dragon markings. Seems that throughout history, different cultures all over the world, they reference a great tournament to fight for something known as Mortal Kombat.
Yay.
The bottom of it.
Who are you?
Kano.
Oh.
None of you.
Oh yeah. How much better is this reptiles, man?
Yeah, a lot.
This movie's getting more and more absurd as it's going on.
So I want to see Liu Kang, and I want to hear "Get Over Here" at least once. I really hope that both of those are involved.
Where is it?
You got a pen? You want to write this down? Get fucked. It's not gonna help. Lizard thing took off half of my face. Lucky for me, you can hardly notice it.
Thank God for Kano in this movie.
Why? Could have done without that.
We gotta walk along the ridge at the highest point to get there.
Go on then, take it. Another mongrel in ya.
Why is the person that's always about to kill always like, do it, do it? Like, are they always depressed as hell?
At last.
I was not expecting you to be that into this movie. Oh!
I'm Liu Kang. From the Shaolin Order of Light.
Liu Kang.
You just shot a fireball out of your hand. How'd you do that? Does that mean I'm gonna get superpowers at any point?
I feel like Kano would be me if I was there.
For sure.
It is essential that we begin your training for the next tournament.
Hell yeah, that's cool.
It's all real.
It's true. All of it.
Get that line right out of episode 7 of Star Wars.
Don't destroy this for me.
Don't make me destroy you.
The fate of Earthrealm is in our hands.
Ah, he's alive.
Who brought him there?
Holden, semantics. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Jax is gonna be back. Better than ever. Oh yeah.
Like a double Winter Soldier.
I have gathered the remaining champions of Earth.
Kind of took all the credit right there. Like, I gathered
What the hell? You are in no physical or mental shape to fight.
Ooh, you all
Thanks
suck.
for negging everybody, Lord Raiden.
What's my fortune? Powerless. Arrogant. But there is nothing for you here. Only death.
Well, I'm willing to die for my family.
You don't turn your back on family.
Wow. See, that was
Their souls are mine.
Yeah.
Silence! It is forbidden to claim victory until the tournament begins.
You are correct.
Katana's fans.
Ooh, nice.
These are your champions.
Yeah, they're not that great, honestly.
Yeah.
Not his house.
Only a matter of time.
Your inner power comes from your arcana, a gift from the marking of the dragon. All you can do now is test your might.
Test your might.
Yeah.
My man's never even smelled a cheeseburger.
Holy crap. That's like straight out of the game.
It's a tribute to spammers.
Oh yeah, they just spam that
Over
same
and
move.
over again.
Again.
It looks like a little chicken arm. I was gonna say, I doubt very seriously this is the final form.
Either you keep going or regret it for the rest of your life.
You trying to tell me something, soldier?
Get off your fucking ass, Major.
I like that.
The end. What's his name? Kung Pao.
Maybe you should lay off the aggros, seeing how you wouldn't be ready to fight if you had 100 days to train.
Oh, got him.
Take that stupid fucking sombrero you wear and shove it so far up your ass you start speaking Spanish. How does that sound?
You're like an aggressive little bunny. You're angry.
Oh, fucking nothing gets by you, does it?
It's like an aggressive crocodile monkey.
Oh, he's Cyclops.
Ah, laser beam! It's better than fireballs, you pussy! Your marking comes from your lineage code.
Hanzo Hasashi.
Revenge.
He really was in hell.
But his bloodline lived on. And he'd hurt. Be with your family!
Who's this guy?
His name's Cabal. He's just one of Shang Tsung's henchmen that just showed up.
Hey, Kano. It's been a while. What are you waiting for, asshole?
So what would I need to do? What, you didn't think you'd actually change me, did you?
So this is sort of the Hulk of that universe.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm the only one!
Good one.
Your death has no worth.
It's still good enough for me.
Now,
Destroy him, my beauty.
Yeah.
Flawless.
Can you imagine the PTA?
Flawless victory.
Damn it, I missed it, my bad.
Now I tear out your spine, champion.
Oh, there it goes. Okay. Yeah, it looks like he's absorbing it and maybe he gets to reuse it. Woo! Wow. He's got all the toys. Yeah. God dang.
Oh crap.
Oh yeah, good call. Maybe he did already have it. There it is.
Wait, what would it have done if he didn't have the metal on his arms? What was it going to be normally?
Bigger arms.
I think you're overthinking this, Holden.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Kung Lao's a freaking badass. Straight from Mortal Kombat 2, the pit.
Hey, big boy.
I'm liking that we're actually seeing.
Yeah, these motherfuckers work.
Is that the theme there?
It's variations on it. Yeah.
How does that feel?
Lawn gnome.
Feels fucking amazing.
It's Chekhov's lawn gnome.
Amazing.
Yeah, bicycle kick, baby! Animality, baby.
Oh yeah.
Fatality. For Kung Lao.
There we go. There it comes.
Finally.
There it comes. Ooh, that was easy. Yeah, okay.
Spine.
Oh. Oh, damn, okay.
The Hasashi bloodline will end.
Actually, I've got 3 brothers.
Now you will die with your family. The blade of Hanzo.
There it is.
Get over here.
Yeah. Oh!
俺は地獄からお前を殺して蘇った
Yeah. Yes.
今俺はスコーピオンだ
That's so good.
Oh, classic move.
白井流のために
This is the same cage he tapped out in initially, so it's all coming full circle. Oh. Literally did the thing.
Finish him.
Vartalin Koi. これが地獄の炎に焼かれるかと思う。俺は炎を操る術を身につけた。
Original.
我らの血統を守れ。
You just going back to hell? We could use you here. Oh yeah, thanks for showing up.
Little sweet boy.
I'm impressed.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sub-Zero is so menacing, you almost forget about this dude.
Yeah.
And you think you have won? Next time I see you, I will bring armies. I don't think so.
I'll assemble a new list of champions.
I need you tomorrow night. Sorry, my days fighting for $200 are done.
What the hell's in Hollywood?
Not what? Who?
Just gotta get an actor.
Citizen Cage.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, just finished watching Mortal Kombat. My initial thoughts, it was pretty much what I expected. I wanted to see a lot of fighting, a lot of action, which it delivered upon. I was actually expecting a couple more like intense fatalities, but we got a couple of good ones. It had some tropiness to it, the prophecy, the chosen one, being pushed until your power comes out. I've seen all that before. There's nothing really that I hadn't seen before in this. So still, overall, I enjoyed the action, I enjoyed the fighting, which is what I came for. Jeremy, you have already seen this before. What were your overall thoughts?
This movie is so dumb. It is so dumb. It's very difficult for me, who is such a big fan of this movie, to sit here and defend it as being a good film. And I think a lot of people misunderstand my rating systems, and you'll see a little bit later on. Sometimes it just doesn't matter. If a movie's fun, it's fun, and I very much think this is a fun movie to watch. I really enjoyed seeing the reaction, in particular from you, Matt, who's standing behind the camera, who I'm talking to right now. I think some of the characters they freaking nailed. Others of them, it was just kind of a weird take on them. I think my biggest standouts is Sub-Zero. I swear the filmmakers were like, I got a really cool idea for Sub-Zero, and then they built a movie around that, because that character in particular is just handled so freaking well. I really like Joe Taslim, the actor that portrays him. The Scorpion stuff is cool too. He's really not in the movie all that much. I don't like Cole Young at all. I think it's a stupid character. Stupid costume, stupid power set, all of that. They should have just let it be Liu Kang and Kung Lao's movie. I really like Kung Lao. I think it's crazy that they killed him off in the first movie, because he's a character I could have followed. And then the other character that's a huge standout to me, and kind of thank God he's in the movie, is Kano. Kano is super funny, and kind of, Matt, as you mentioned, he might almost be the audience surrogate. Like, if we were in that situation, how would we deal with so many fantastical elements? And as Holden mentioned, there are a lot of tropes in it. Just how do you condense so much stuff down into one story? A lot of people are willing to suspend your disbelief for one little piece of reality, but when each of these different characters has these different disparate powers that really, hey, disparate, that's my favorite word. It's just hard to explain all of it, so you just kind of gotta let it ride. It's like, I don't know how Jax's arms went from being all janky to being all muscular like that, but whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what else to say. I had a lot of fun with this movie. I'll rate it in just a minute, but I'm actually really enthusiastic about hearing other people's thoughts.
There's just a ton of suspending disbelief required in this film, because no two powers are alike. There's always different reasons. What was his name? Goro, the forearm dude? Where are there more like him? Is he like a race? Is, you know?
Yes.
Well, okay, well, who knows? I mean, I wouldn't know, but he just sort of shows that everybody's different. There are gods and people that are mutants, like the X-Men or whatever, wherever they have their powers. Exactly what Jeremy said. Sometimes you just want to watch a movie just for fun, to be entertained. I will say that I thought the ice for Sub-Zero special effects were amazing. They were really, really well done. Some really great action sequences, set pieces. As a film, as like story structure, nothing new at all. But don't let me sway anybody else's opinion. Prime, what about you? Another fan, what did you think?
Yeah, exactly. Leading into what I was going to talk about, I love the visuals in this. All up until Goro, I felt a little flatter than what I think they could have done. Reminded me a lot of Warcraft from that live action movie. You know, slightly better than Dwayne Johnson in Scorpion King, as the Scorpion King in The Mummy Returns, right? But yeah, exactly like we talked about before, this is exactly what I was expecting moving in. This is a movie taken from a video game. I loved that I got to see my fatalities. That is what I wanted, that graphic, and they pulled that off great. I love blade going through her and you've seen her brain and all that stuff. But yeah, story-wise, again, like I mentioned earlier about Mortal Kombat being convoluted, they never actually fought Mortal Kombat. They even said about breaking the rules. And so how does that go set by the gods beforehand about being able to enter the realm then? Because that's the whole purpose of Mortal Kombat.
I wanted a Mortal Kombat as well, Prime. I'm 100% with you. Can't we just have a tournament for once? And it looks like we're going straight into a war. And the next one, it's like, just give me a tournament first. I just want a tournament.
Well, and it was there, right? They set up, just like I said, there were already 9 tournaments won, and this was the 10th, and we didn't even see it. This was all beforehand. But it's what we expected.
Everybody's like, it's cool and sucks.
And Jenna, what about you? What did you think?
I have more comments on Matt's reaction to the movie than I do to the actual movie. I didn't really go into the movie with many expectations, but it met every expectation that I thought it was going to. Something that I'm absolutely not interested in. I would never watch again. Lots of fight scenes, lots of nonsensical stuff. I can't really suspend enough disbelief to really care about this movie. But Matt was on the edge of his seat from the first scene on.
The first scene was fantastic.
Non-essential things were happening and he was jumping up and down like goosebumps. I
Would
heard that
you
like
let
3
me have
times.
this?
And I think it proves the point that the nostalgia piece is so important to Matt.
I have always
Because
claimed that.
we have watched so many other movies that were better than this movie that he absolutely didn't like.
Subjective.
But it's because he has that nostalgia piece from his childhood and that's why he likes this movie. Also, there was one cringy moment in the movie that absolutely was terrible, and it was the Magic Mike reference that absolutely had no place in this movie. I think that the scenery in the beginning was absolutely beautiful. I could follow the story, don't care about the story, never watch it again, have no interest in playing the video game with you, Matt.
I mean, I don't own it. It's not like that was an option or on the table, but okay, way to tear it down. Go ahead.
I'm also kind of confused. It seems like if this was based on what happens in the video game, that's a really involved, complicated video game.
No, the game is just a bunch of fighting. There's a little bit of storyline, yeah, but no.
Okay, that's it.
It's like the movie tried to bring you to how crazy it gets slowly, like early on, where you see just Sub-Zero show up. Like, okay, we got some superpowers. And then like the next scene, there's an invisible lizard that they're fighting, and then it's all off the table. You just gotta take what they're giving you. Jen, how did you feel about this movie?
I enjoyed this movie a lot more than I thought I was going to. I actually am a pretty big fan of the fight scenes, but I like it to be balanced. And I like that this movie did that. It had a lot of great fight scenes, but it also had a really great storyline. His ancestors, I really, really liked that angle. Didn't really care for Cole, but Sub-Zero was my favorite. Kano was my favorite.
Kano.
What, I'm gonna need them to like let up on the K names because they're like ridiculous. He was my favorite in the beginning, but Sub-Zero was just so terrifying. I think it was because he didn't talk much. It was just, he was such a presence. So I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to. One thing I didn't like was the ending. I was expecting a lot more climactic fight scene. I felt like it kind of fell flat at the end. I was just waiting for that moment. I was like, oh, here it is. And it was not bad. It just, I felt like it was gonna be more. But it did lead into, there's gonna be like a follow-up or a Mortal Kombat 2
Maybe to see how
movie?
this one would perform, I guess.
Yeah.
Did they talk about a trilogy?
5 movies. Joe Taslim is signed up for 5 movies.
Oh, well, that kind of explains that then. They wanted to save some for the next movie. But I wish they would have kind of had that moment where it was just intense at the end, because in the beginning they really brought that. It was very intense. At the end, I felt like it kind of just died off, no pun intended. But I really actually enjoyed it much better than I thought it was going to be.
I guess their intended like great fight scene was Scorpion Corey, is that his name? Cole, yeah. Scorpion, Cole, and Sub-Zero fighting, which was great, but I agree, like I was waiting for like the Mortal Kombat big finale with maybe the gods, you know, fighting one another. Just sounded like the next level. Because I did like that scene, but it didn't feel, like Jen said, like the climax. Matt seemed to have gotten into this way more than I was expecting. Obviously had some nostalgia piece to it. This is a property that you are actually much more familiar with than I am, which is not the norm. So what did you think about the movie?
All right. I gotta tell you, this movie, everything about it was just perfect. I think it was fantastic. I'm just kidding. No, it was not perfect. It was not perfect. But I really enjoyed this. There was a lot of nostalgia, which I'll get into in a minute. But the opening scene felt like probably the most high quality moments of this movie when it comes to cinematography, very much talking about the story. It definitely, as you go further into the movie, it degrades and degrades and degrades. You know, you start throwing in more characters that you don't possibly have time to introduce, like backstory and all that. I think Jeremy hit the nail on the head with how do you cram so much in with giving enough detail. So I get it. I don't fault them for that. It is what it is. Precisely what you said about Jax. Like how do you explain that? Holden even brought that up. So I get it if anybody has an issue with it, but didn't really bug me. I feel like Sub-Zero was unbelievably menacing, almost too menacing at some points. But it does make that final scene where he is dying like, wow, okay, like Scorpion and Cole can beat him, so like they're pretty powerful together. A lot of tropes, like Holden said. Jen was spot on. Kano was like the unsung hero of this movie, even though he turned out to be a bad dude. He brought the humor, and I felt like he did such a fantastic job. I wanted to see Liu Kang, and then I wanted Get Over Here. I wanted those two things, and I got them. I think Liu Kang was very young. I kind of wanted him to be a little bit more aged up, especially if he's supposed to have this wisdom and bring in these new champions. But, you know, whatever, it's all good. I feel like he did a good job with that role. He was shredded to the bone. Raiden electrocutes Kano and says, powerless, arrogant. Or did he say arrogant, powerless? Regardless, he says it in that order, and very much I think what that was saying was, due to your arrogance, you are powerless. And I thought that was really profound. I loved that moment. Another good moment, I think, you know, nothing crazy. It's like, I wouldn't count it as a bygone Jim moment, but just a good moment when Sonya was speaking to Jax, very much that military mentality, and he was like, and she was like, get off your ass, like, let's go. You know, Jax very much having a pity party about, oh no, like, I got little arms. I don't know, just, I like that. I like that. There was a lot of parallels, and I know some people are gonna be like, you know, what is happening? Relax. Some people aren't gonna like this, but I think it was kind of cool to find the similarities in the realms. But like, Goro could be considered the Hulk. Thor was Raiden. Cole kind of had these Captain America tendencies with this suit that was kind of a shield that, you know, really blocked off a lot of stuff. I thought that was kind of cool to make those translations. I never would have done that having not seen MCU before this. Liu Kang should have been Cole, ultimately. I don't know what happened in the previous movie, but whatever. Yep, like, Cole was very much, yeah, we didn't care, and like, he gets the suit, and then he has the blade, and then he's got double arm blades, and it's just like, there was too many elements for a big main character, and I don't feel that they delivered him very well. Like Jen said, very anticlimactic in the ending. I was expecting something much more. Nobody ever dies in these movies. Never. Except old mom and the son. I don't know how that ended up. They'll be back. Here's the thing. Yes, nostalgia weighs heavily for me in movies, but I was able to care about the MCU and all that with no nostalgia. So I think that goes to show that just because something doesn't have nostalgia doesn't mean that I can't like it. Having said that, a lot of nostalgia behind this, like I said at the top of it, but even being tired and this movie being somewhat ridiculous towards the end, I really liked it. This is a fun movie to watch. I would watch it again. There's maybe a few bygone Jim moments in there. A lot of fun. That's it.
Let's go ahead and do our ratings. For me, what this movie lacks, it kind of makes up for in the action stuff. I don't think they did a good job kind of structuring their universe for a person that may not already be familiar with the Mortal Kombat world. I knew going into it I wanted to see the action and the over-the-top fighting, so it delivered on that. So for me, I'd probably give it about a 6.5. I'd give it about a 6.5. It delivered what I wanted. Jeremy, what about you?
I really do think the choreography is fantastic in this film. Shout out to Hiroyuki Sanada and Joe Taslim, as well as Louis Tan. All excellent martial artists. In fact, if you haven't seen The Raid Redemption or The Night Comes For Us, Highly recommend both those movies. In fact, Joe Taslim is so talented, they tried to lock him in for 5 movies if this one does well as Sub-Zero, which I think is fantastic casting. James Wan is the producer of this movie, and in a way I feel like he's trying to do for Australia what Peter Jackson did for New Zealand with the Lord of the Rings films, and Aquaman is what you guys are gonna be watching later on as one of the DC movies, so James Wan directed that film. Anyways, just wanted to mention those couple of things real quick. The movie begins and ends with fights from Sub-Zero and Scorpion, and those are the characters I care the most about. Jen's absolutely right. The first one, where they're not in the costumes, so much stronger than the end where they are, but there's some really cool stuff in there. So anyways, is it better than the 1995 version of Mortal Kombat? I don't know, man. I loved that one. I was so enthusiastic when I saw it as a 13-year-old, but this is a little bit different. I'm older, I'm more jaded, I have distance from the franchise. 6 out of 10.
Prime, what about you? What would you rate it?
Well, I know I said earlier we got exactly what we were looking to get out of it, but I'm gonna have to rate it at like 5.5. It's gonna be one of those movies I'll probably watch again, but it's gonna be just playing in the background, and I'm only gonna look up at it to watch the fight scenes as like cut scenes in the video game, which were nailed, but yeah.
Jenna, what about you?
I didn't dislike this movie. I think Matt enjoying it added to my liking the movie.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I really wouldn't watch it again though, so I'll give it a 5.5. She gives it a 0.
Jen, what would you rate it?
I really enjoyed it. I really liked the fight scenes. Jeremy mentioned that there was a previous Mortal Kombat movie which I was unaware of, so I would be interested to see that movie compared to this one. I thought that they did really great with the makeup of the characters. Sub-Zero was just, I loved him. So I'm gonna have to go with the 7.5.
Wow, pretty high. And then Matt, what would you rate it?
I came up nostalgia with my brothers playing these video games. Had I not had that, I don't know how much I would be invested in this.
Probably not at all.
Probably not at all. And you know, full transparency, and that's fine with me. But Jen, perfect number, 7.5. I liked it a lot. I would watch this again, maybe not intently to be like, what's the story? And I would be interested to see that other Mortal Kombat movie.
All right, that's it. Let us know your thoughts down below, what you thought of Mortal Kombat if you've gotten the chance to see it already. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Make sure to check out Matt's channel and Jeremy's channel. The links will be in the description below. Consider subscribing if you want to see more fun content like this. Consider joining my Patreon to get early access and special bonus features and stuff like that. As always, we appreciate you watching. We'll catch you in the next video. Take care.